Hi, guys, and welcome to the War Room. So, for this week, I thought we would take a look at some of my masks. Now, obviously, we're going to save the big boys for their own video. So, I thought we'd start with some of the little ones. First off, I have these blank masks, which I got the white one, and then I have a red one. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why are you showing these? Like, what the hell? Because if you remember when I was talking about in my horrorcore music video, or about music, the video I made, I got this mask that I made, and I used to make masks like this for when I performed, and sometimes I'd sell them. And I'd use a lot like these. And I actually have one of the ones I made, and it's like a skeleton design. This is one that I'd wear when I performed. Now, if I can remember, I'll try and throw a picture in the posts of some of the other masks that I've made. I think they're pretty cool. And for like $3.99, maybe $4.99 now, you can usually find these at like Spirit Halloween or Party City. They're usually with like the school spirit stuff because you can use these for pretty much anything. And I always thought the simple design of the plain mask is a little creepy. If you've seen Poughkeepsie tapes, you know he walks in, he's got one of those on the back of his head. Then he stands up and he's got the nose, I think it's called a Venetian mask. So yeah, simple can be creepy. Which brings me to the next mask, which is definitely creepy. These clear masks. This one is like the lady one, which is featured in the movie Alice, Sweet Alice. And that's definitely a very creepy movie. And this is a very creepy mask, so it's pretty appropriate that they used it. And then next we have a pretty popular mask depending on who you ask. It's the Purge mask from the first movie. Now, I used to have the God mask. This was before they actually put the word God on the head. I actually had to draw it on there with nail polish. Now they sell it with the word on there, and it's like $25. I've thought about buying it again, but I'm like, you know what? Nah. And I kept this one. I'm not even a big fan of the Purge movies, really. I like the first two, but after that, they kind of went downhill. But this is one of those masks that I think is kind of creepy because of how simple it is. So there you have that one. Next, we have these like chrome metallic masks. Usually, you can see these at like Walmart or Meijer. Usually, they have a hood attached, but I think this one was just as is. And it kind of reminds me of the mask used in the Dementia 13 remake, if I'm remembering correctly. And it also kind of reminds me of the Chrome Skull mask, which I think they do have a skeleton one like this in the Chrome style. I wouldn't mind getting one of those if I can find one that kind of looks close to that style. But again, this is just a simple, creepy design that I think works. And then I found another mask. I think this one did have a hood. I removed it, obviously. And I customized it because I saw a video of how to do your own. And I said, you know what? That looks like fun. I'm going to try that out. And I made this custom Joker mask, which I think turned out pretty damn good. I wouldn't mind getting one that resembles excuse me, uh, the where he took his face off and he was wearing it like a mask. I think that's really cool. But I think this is a really just cool, simple Joker mask that you could probably recreate at home. So there's those. Now let's move on to a few of the more premium, I guess, in this style. First off, we have this. I think it's supposed to be like a luchador monster, I believe. I can't remember exactly. I have one of the other masks. Let me grab it real quick because it's by the same people, and I do want to give them a shout out because I bought them around the same time. Here we go. They're kind of in the style of the old Coopersville masks. If you remember, those came in a box with a mask and a smock or a t-shirt, basically. And yeah, these are retro Halloween masks. So they're kind of the style of like hockey masks that you can because you can look on the back. And you could turn these into, a Jason Voorhees mask. But I think this is a more unique take. And then here we have a Creature from the Black Lagoon one, obviously, because I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. And these are made by Malmey, Malmey masks. I'm not sure if they're still doing things, but if they are, there's the info. Hopefully it's hopefully it's a right side on the screen. If not, I'll try and remember to put this in the description so you guys can check those out. Then we have an actual hockey mask that I bought at I think it was the first convention I went to for Horror Hound, and it's not the greatest. The chevrons were just haphazardly painted on, but it was like, I think it was $4. So I was like, you know what? Why not? In hindsight, I probably should have gotten like I don't know, like a damaged one or like the retro one. But I said, you know what? I like this classic mask, and I actually hang this on my Camp Crystal Lake sign, and it fits perfectly with the aesthetic of that sign because it just matches. I like it. Next, we have a vintage clown mask that Spirit Halloween's selling. I don't know if they're still selling them, but for a while they were selling these with they had like Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, these weird retro style masks like this. And this one kind of resembles the mask that young Michael Myers wears in the Rob Zombie remake, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think I found this at a Goodwill for like $1 or $2. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Clowns are pretty creepy. It's a cool mask. I like it. And then we have this Joker mask, which it's kind of derpy, but that's why I like it. And I mean, Joker's not necessarily horror, but he is technically a clown, and people are afraid of clowns. And who isn't afraid of the Heath Ledger Joker? He was pretty creepy in that movie. So I think he fits well in my horror room. And lastly, out of these, this is a mask that I had been after for a while. I cannot remember the name of the guy. But there was a very horrible person, similar to like Ed Gein and people like that. He wasn't really a serial killer, but he was a serial R-word, if you get my drift. But that's not what made him disturbing. What made him disturbing was that he wore a Topstone vampire girl mask. Now, I think the one he wore was actually rubber. And I've seen them online. They're not cheap. Anything by Topstone, usually. So I found this plastic one. It did have a string, but the string broke. Because this is a very old mask. But it's in fairly good condition. And yeah, he would wear a version of this mask. And this, just imagining that, this is what his victims saw. Like, ugh. And it's predates, Leatherface and Michael Myers type stuff, which they kind of all influence each other or inspired each other. But this is kind of like the OG, and it's really creepy in my opinion. So I was like, this is a piece of real life horror history that I don't mind owning because it's genuinely creepy for what it is. And the rubber mask, like I said, is way creepier, but I can't afford that one. So next we're going to look at some other masks. They're actually on my wall. I could have gotten them down, but I did not want to because taking them all down and putting them back up, it's a whole thing. So I'm going to bring you guys over here. Now let's see if I can... Oh, it will not let me turn the camera around. Okay, so I'm just going to do it this way. Yeah. So you guys are going to have to deal with it. Up here we have the Happy Death Day Babyface mask. Not the most unique mask, but I think it's pretty funny. And I mean, it's a good movie. At least the first one. The second one's a little iffy. It's fine, though. Next, over here, we have one of the masks from Haunt. Trick or Treat. I wish I had the Haunt masks. I need to get on that. I don't have... Wait, do I? I thought I did. Hold on, wait a minute. I have the posters. Yeah, I have the posters. I don't have the masks. I need to get those. Yeah. Well, I don't. Actually, I have one of them. Wait, I thought I had more. Hold on. I'm really confusing myself. No, I only have one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Well, I have this clown mask from Trick or Treat. And it's from one of the kids on the bus. They have like the vampire and they have the bunny and I think the sack. But I thought, obviously, clowns are creepy, and this is a pretty creepy clown mask. And then, of course, right next to it is Mitch from Haunt. I knew I had one. It's right there. I'm stupid. I was looking right at it. Let me turn this around. This one, just very quick. This devil mask, it's along the same lines as like the clown mask that I showed. It's kind of a vintage style, and I love it. It's a really cool devil mask. Gives out those classic vibes where you got like the plastic pitchfork, which I have one of those around here somewhere. And then up here in the corner, we have a classic invisible mask. This is another thing I used to use when I performed. I would basically hollow out the face area. I'd do the mask and then the paint. It's kind of was a mess, but I did have them in different colors. I had a black one, a red one, and a purple one, and they were really cool. And the purple one, obviously, I did some Skeletor stuff with, which I thought was fun. But you can't really get these masks anymore because obviously, people could use these to commit crimes and stuff, or be assholes on Halloween. It's like you can't even see their face, so obviously they got rid of them. But when I found this one, I knew I had to add it to my collection because it's kind of a classic. And then right next to it, we have another classic, which is the Grim Reaper skeleton mask. Again, simple equals creepy. I think it's pretty cool. And then we have my Ghostface collection, which I'm not the biggest Ghostface fan, but I do like a lot of the designs. Now, the one I really want is the Skeleface mask. It's basically the same thing as this, just skeleton, and it looks really cool, but it's super hard to find. So obviously I have the classic regular Ghostface mask, and then I have the Dead by Daylight Viper face. I don't know much about Dead by Daylight, but I know that there's different costumes for certain characters in the game, and I really like this design. I think it's pretty unique, but I gotta give it to the devil one. That one's sick. The hood is actually kind of like it's not leather, but it's like leather, but I think it's really cool, and it's a great design, and it goes great with a pitchfork. And then right next to it, you have the chrome Ghostface mask, which they did a whole different bunch of colors. Like you can find a gold one, but I always like the classic chrome one. So yeah, so there's my basic masks. Oh, well, I'll just throw this one in. It's not really a premium one, but it is a rubber one, and we'll just go ahead and get it in there. And that's the Grim Reaper mask. I found that at a Goodwill for like a couple bucks. And then here's one of those hoods that I had. So yeah, just a little simple Grim Reaper display. So there you have it. Oh, so let me know down below if there's any, classic creepy masks that you remember seeing at Halloween stores or, corner drugstores and stuff growing up, or if there's one that you say, hey, you don't have this mask. Like, obviously, I should get some more haunt masks. It's just finding the room. Which these types of masks, the smaller ones, they are less intrusive. I mean, I'm just throwing some in a bucket for crying out loud. But if you do want to keep them on their original hang tabs, like I have most of those displayed, then they can become a little consuming for the areas you're trying to put them in. And then obviously the bigger ones are the really area consuming ones. But we'll get to those in next week's video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.